Hey guys, it's Liz here with another video for you, and today we are focusing on filing tips and tricks. Now, the first thing that you need to do after you activate is just make sure that they are ready to file, and I just do that just by tapping on them, just like you see there, and they will give like a little clink to let you know that they are ready to be filed. So I am just hand filing. I still hand file most of the time. You can use an e-file to do filing and shaping, but I just haven't gotten good enough with the electric file just yet. So I feel like I have more control with this. So I am starting with the 100-180, and this is going to take down my dip powder a lot faster. So I use that one to get large portions of dip that I need to get off quickly, but you don't want to do too much because it's going to leave a lot of grooves in your dip powder. So the 180 is a little bit better for using at the top of your nail, because it's not going to leave a whole lot of grooves. But if you do have like a big spot that you need to take down really quickly, the 100 grit works really well for that. So the shape that I'm going to be doing in this video is more of a tapered square. So what I'm doing here is, and you want to make sure that the edge is seasoned. So you can take another file and just rub it on the edge of that, and that helps to season it and take off some of that grit, so that when you put it up against your skin, it won't irritate or file your skin. And that way you can get up really close to your skin without filing your skin. I also like to use a metal file sometimes to get up under my nail. You just have to be very careful when you're doing something like this, because that metal file will take off your skin really quickly. So I just do, you saw I was doing it just in one motion. I don't do it in back and forth, and I try to do it really slowly. So when I am doing this, I am looking at my nail in every direction to see what every side of my nail looks like. So this whole process is more of a sculpting process. Every part of this I kind of think is, a different art, and this is more sculpting. So you're trying to figure out where you need to take off parts of that nail to finish the shape that you want. And it's a good idea to kind of like find your shape muse, so to speak. So find some pictures of the shape that you're going for, and try to find it at different angles as well. That way you'll know each angle exactly what it's supposed to look like. So for this one, and when you're building an apex, you kind of want it to slowly taper to the edge of your nail. So at each side you want it to get thinner, and right in the middle is going to be your thickest part of your nail. So you see here I'm kind of taking off some of the sides and around my proximal fold to create that kind of slant. And again, I season the side, that way I can get right up next to that proximal fold and not have to worry about my skin right there. So this should be a nice smooth curve down to that proximal fold, just like that. And then towards the edge of your nail is going to be another smooth slant to the front or free edge. So once you've taken down everything that you want with the larger grit, then you're going to take a smaller grit like the 180 or a 240 and smooth out all of those grooves that you've made in your nail. So that's what I'm doing right here, is just kind of trying to get out some of those grooves. So you can take off some of the dust and kind of see where you're at and if there's anything else that you need to do to create the shape that you're looking for. And again, I'm looking at it at every angle to make sure that it's okay. So this angle kind of helps you to see if it is straight or if you need to take off one side of that to create it, to create more of a flat or straight angle at the free edge. So here I'm trying to taper it up towards the top because I'm trying to create that tapered square look. So the other side isn't quite the same angle, so I'm gonna want to take off a little bit more. This one that I'm showing you here is more of a ballerina look, and it's a little bit more tapered at the side than that one. But you just want your angles on both sides to be about the same. So again, the whole time I'm constantly checking my finger from different angles just to see if that shape is coming out the way that I want it to. It's harder to fix. You can fix it, but it's harder to fix if you take too much off. So you want to constantly be checking the shape, seeing where you need to adjust. That way you're not taking too much off. Again, constantly brushing it off as well to help see if there's anything that you need to do to correct it. And after you get finished filing and buffing, so right here when you're just taking off the grooves, that's called buffing. So you don't really need the buffer blocks to buff. You just need a finer grit file, so like a 180 or a 240. Once you get the shape the way that you want it to, you can take a buffer block that has a smaller or a finer grit and buff out some more of those ridges, and then you're going to activate. After you activate, that isn't final. If you activate and then look at it and decide that there is something else that you need to fix, then you can fix it. Now you want to make sure that you fix it before you put the top coat on. But after you activate, if there's something that you need to fix, just let that activator, give it like a couple of minutes to dry again, and then you can go back and clean up anything that you still need to fix. So I am moving on to my other nails because that one looks pretty good. So I'm going to let you watch me file for a little bit, and I'm going to meet back up with you and show you what to do if you take off a little bit too much. So for this one, you can see I took off a little bit too much on that nail. So this is not a big problem. You can fix that. It's just a little inconvenience pretty much. So what you will do is just take a little bit of that powder and pour it out into a container. Then you're gonna want to get a little dish to put your activator in. And I found out that this was not the best dish to do this, and I knew going in that it might not work, and it did. It ended up messing up my little llama face, or I think that's llama, maybe it's a cat. Is that a cat? Maybe it's a cat. But you're just going to get a little bit of that activator and kind of create almost like a dip polish and just brush it on there. You want it to be a little fluid because you don't want it to be like really clumpy. I mean, you can file it down a little bit, but you want it to just kind of like brush on there. And I got a little bit too much, kind of got it clumpy. But yeah, so you just want to kind of brush on there and try to get it as even as possible on there. And there you go, all fixed up. Then you want to just make sure that you leave that alone for about a minute or so, just so it can dry completely before you do anything else to it. So I did want to add one good thing about the buffer blocks, or this one anyway, and that little orange one, is that they have a little foam side that doesn't have any grit to it. So that makes it really easy to get up close to that proximal fold as well without eating up your skin with the file. So I did kind of nick this cuticle, or it started bleeding on me, but that was a previous cut that I got from an electric file, and that's another reason why I like to use the hand files, because those electric files can get away from you really quickly and cause lots of damage. But the rest of my cuticles, or my proximal folds skin right there, did not look bad at all, especially after I put some cuticle oil on them. They looked fine. So overall, this was about 15 minutes of fixing and filing my nails at the end. You may be able to do or cut back a little bit on that time with an e-file if you get good enough. It just takes a while to get good at using an electric file. So I mean, I've cut back on my time. I think it used to take me a lot longer to do this, and it might take you a while at first before you start really getting good at it. But it just takes practice, and then, you know, getting used to your materials, making sure that your liquids you're using them thinly, and just getting them where you need them. That way you don't have to file as much at the end. Having good powders that don't have a lot of bulk to them, that are, you know, thin, really helps with the filing as well. So the last thing that you want to make sure that you do is reactivate everything. So the reason for this is the top coat takes activator to harden. So you want to make sure that everything that you filed has been reactivated so that the top coat will dry completely. So you can go back and fix anything, refile anything, but you always want to make sure that you reactivate after you file. So that's going to be it for this video. The next video is top coat, so stick around for that. And thank you so much for watching.